On a cold winter night in 2004, a young woman named Maura Murray vanished without a trace from a quiet stretch of road in Haverhill, New Hampshire. What started as a minor car accident quickly spiraled into one of the most baffling and haunting missing persons cases in modern history. To this day, no one knows what really happened to Maura Murray, but the theories, speculation, and unanswered questions have kept investigators and the public searching for the truth for nearly 2 decades. We will also reveal if our previous story, The Dark History of Poveglia Island, is true or fictional at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Maura was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She was intelligent, athletic, and had a promising future ahead of her. But in the days leading up to her disappearance, something seemed off. On February 9th, 2004, Maura emailed her professors and work supervisor, saying she had a family emergency and would be out of town for a few days. However, no such emergency existed. Instead, she packed some belongings, withdrew $280 from an ATM, purchased alcohol, and set off on a trip north. Where she was heading remains a mystery. Around 7:30 p.m., Maura's black Saturn veered off Route 112 in Haverhill, crashing into a snowbank. A local school bus driver, Butch Atwood, stopped and offered to help, but Maura declined, insisting she had already called for roadside assistance. However, phone records show no such call was ever made. Atwood continued home and called the police, but by the time officers arrived just minutes later, Maura was gone. There were no footprints leading away from the car, no signs of a struggle, just an abandoned vehicle and a growing number of questions. Investigators discovered that Maura had packed carefully for her trip, bringing school books, toiletries, and enough clothes for several days. Her laptop and phone were missing from the car, but her bank card and other personal items were left behind. The car's airbags had deployed, and a box of wine was found spilled in the back seat. A witness in a nearby home claimed to have seen someone moving around the car shortly after the crash, but they did not see where Maura went. Police dogs traced her scent for about 100 yards before it disappeared, suggesting she may have left in a vehicle. Theories about Maura's disappearance are endless. Some believe she staged her own vanishing, seeking a new life far away from her past. Others argue she was abducted by a stranger or met with foul play from someone she encountered on the road. There are even those who suspect she succumbed to the freezing temperatures that night, her body still hidden somewhere in the vast wilderness. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is a series of cryptic phone calls made in the days leading up to her disappearance. Maura had received an upsetting call at work just days before she vanished, and her behavior afterward was described as distraught. She also searched for directions to Burlington, Vermont before she left, suggesting she had a destination in mind. But why Burlington? And did she ever make it there? Her family, especially her father, Fred Murray, has spent years searching for answers. Fred believes Maura met with foul play and has criticized law enforcement for not treating her disappearance as a criminal case from the start. Over the years, he has led countless searches, hired private investigators, and tirelessly pursued any lead that might bring his daughter home. Despite numerous searches, interviews, and public appeals, no credible sightings or new evidence have surfaced. There have been occasional developments: bones found in a nearby basement, tips from anonymous sources, and new forensic analysis. But nothing has provided the breakthrough needed to solve the case. Some believe Maura may have willingly disappeared, starting a new life under a different identity. However, this theory seems unlikely given that she has never accessed her bank accounts, contacted family, or left any trace of her existence since that night. Others speculate that she accepted a ride from someone who had sinister intentions. The area where she vanished is isolated, and if she encountered the wrong person at the wrong time, she may never have had a chance to escape. The red truck theory remains a controversial topic. Some locals reported seeing a suspicious red truck near the crash site around the time Maura disappeared. Others claim they saw an individual fitting Maura's description walking in the area before vanishing into the night. Could this truck be connected to her disappearance? Law enforcement never identified the owner, and the lead eventually went cold. Then there's the matter of Maura's mindset. Many believe she was in distress the night she vanished. Her recent car accident at school, the emotional phone call with her sister, and her abrupt departure from campus all indicate she may have been dealing with overwhelming personal issues. But was she simply seeking solitude, or was she running from something more serious? The timeline of events that night remains a critical focus. Maura's car was found around 7:30 p.m. A few minutes later, Butch Atwood stopped to offer help. He later reported that Maura declined assistance, saying she had already called AAA. But phone records show no such call was made. This raises the question, was she expecting someone else? Atwood, who was one of the last people to see Maura alive, returned home after their brief interaction and called the police. When officers arrived just minutes later, Maura was gone. The rapid disappearance in such a short window of time remains one of the most baffling elements of the case. The weather that night was cold, and the surrounding area was rural, with dense forests and rugged terrain. If Maura had left on foot, she wouldn't have made it far without being noticed. But no credible sightings were ever reported beyond the immediate area of the crash. Maura's loved ones hold on to hope that someone, somewhere, knows what happened. Whether it's a local resident with unspoken knowledge, an individual who crossed paths with Maura that night, or a piece of evidence yet to be discovered, the truth may still be out there. Until that day comes, the disappearance of Maura Murray remains one of the most perplexing and haunting unsolved cases in modern history. So what do you think? Is this story true or not? Let me know in the comments, and we will reveal the answer in our next video. And now, let's address our previous story. The dark history of Poveglia Island. The story of Poveglia Island is rooted in historical truth, making its eerie reputation all the more chilling. The island was indeed used as a quarantine station during multiple plague outbreaks, with thousands of infected individuals sent there to die. Mass graves filled with plague victims' ashes remain part of the island's soil, reinforcing its grim legacy. Furthermore, in the 20th century, a psychiatric hospital operated on Poveglia, where reports of inhumane treatments and lobotomies added to its dark history. Though some supernatural claims remain unverified, the historical suffering and death that took place on the island are undeniable, making Poveglia's haunted reputation deeply plausible. If you enjoy our stories, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.